a place where the line between justice and control blurs, where the most dangerous minds on earth are locked away forever. This is CECOT, the Terrorism Confinement Center, the largest prison by capacity in the world, located in the small Central American nation of El Salvador. With room for 40,000 inmates, it's a fortress designed to hold the worst of the worst: gang leaders, murderers, psychopaths, people who once ruled the streets with terror. But this isn't just a story about a prison. It's a story about a country's radical fight against chaos, a government's iron grip, and, believe it or not, lessons that could transform the way you think about business, leadership, and strategy. So grab a seat, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into the world of CECOT. Picture this: a sprawling complex covering 410 acres of isolated land in Tecoluca, El Salvador, about 45 miles from the capital, San Salvador. CECOT isn't your average prison. It's a mega prison, built from scratch in just 7 months in 2022 under the orders of El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele. Its purpose? To lock up the most dangerous criminals in the country, high-ranking members of notorious gangs like MS-13 and Barrio 18, and ensure they never see the outside world again. With a capacity of 40,000 inmates, it's the largest prison in Latin America and one of the biggest globally. But it's not just the size that makes CECOT stand out. It's the sheer intensity of its design and the message it sends. Crime doesn't pay, and punishment here is absolute. Construction began in late 2022, right after a brutal wave of gang violence rocked El Salvador. On March 26, 2022, gangs killed 62 people in a single day, the deadliest in decades. Over 3 days, the death toll hit 87. For a country of just 6 million people, that's staggering. President Bukele responded with a state of emergency, suspending constitutional rights and launching a massive crackdown. Within 16 months, over 70,000 people, about 2% of the adult population, were arrested. And CECOT? It became the crown jewel of that war on gangs, opening its doors in January 2023 to house the worst of the worst. Imagine thousands of ZAR, gang members chained and silent, transported in the dead of night to this fortress. They sit one behind the other, heads lowered, a single mass of white uniforms under the glare of floodlights. Armed guards in masks watch their every move. This isn't a scene from a dystopian movie. It's real. CECOT was built to erase the power these gangs once had, to lock them away in a place where escape isn't just impossible, it's unthinkable. Let's take a closer look at what makes CECOT tick. This isn't a prison where inmates get yard time or rehabilitation programs. It's a machine of confinement, engineered down to the smallest detail to strip away freedom and hope. The facility is divided into 8 massive modules, each pair surrounded by 2 3-meter-high concrete walls topped with razor wire. Around the entire complex, a 9-meter-high wall and a 3-meter electrified fence pumping 15,000 volts. 19 watchtowers loom overhead, manned by over 600 soldiers and 1,000 staff members who keep this place locked down. Security here is next level. Jammers block all signals within a 2-kilometer radius, cutting off any chance of communication with the outside. High-capacity X-ray scanners, capable of showing bones and organs, scan every newcomer to catch anything hidden, from microchips to phone chargers. Inmates have tried swallowing objects or smuggling them in unthinkable places, but the system catches it all. After the scan, a thorough body search follows, shoes off, socks inspected. Even as media, it took us an hour to get through security, and we were invited. Once inside, inmates enter the registration room. No IDs, no real names, just fingerprints and photos to log them into the system. From that moment, they're cut off from the world. Family visits, forbidden. Phone calls, not a chance. Some innocent people got swept up in the crackdown, and because of this no-contact policy, their families don't even know if they're alive. For the guilty, though, this is where their story ends. Now let's step into the modules. Each of the 8 buildings holds up to 2,500 inmates across 32 cells. Each cell, designed for 80 people, but sometimes crammed with up to 150. That's half a square meter per person, barely enough to stand. No windows, no ventilation, no courtyards. The only light comes from artificial bulbs that never turn off, day or night. The bunks? 4-level metal slabs, no mattresses, no pillows, just a sheet if you're lucky. Toilets? 2 per cell, shared, by dozens, right next to a basin where they shower with plastic dippers. One blue barrel holds their drinking water. It's raw, it's humiliating, and it's deliberate. These guys don't get much. A white uniform, socks and slippers, a towel, that's it. Every 2 weeks, guards shave their heads and beards to keep them clean and prevent them from hiding weapons. They spend 23 hours a day locked in these cells, with just 1 hour a week outside for exercise or a Bible lesson, always under armed supervision. The rest of the time, they sit, they sleep, they stare. There's no hope, no future, just monotony. And if you break the rules, welcome to the isolation cells. These are concrete boxes with sealed doors, a single hole for light and air, and a slab to sleep on. No books, no contact, no sense of time. You could be in there for days or weeks, alone with your thoughts. The guards say it's necessary for the kind of people they're dealing with, ruthless killers who once decided who lived and died. Mercy isn't on the menu here, justice is. So who ends up in CECOT? These aren't petty thieves or first-time offenders. We're talking about the elite of El Salvador's criminal underworld, high-ranking members of MS-13 and Barrio 18, gangs that once turned this country into a war zone. These groups controlled entire neighborhoods, extorting money, dealing drugs, and leaving bodies in their wake. They're young, most in their 20s, but their rap sheets are horrifying. While infamous criminals like Ted Bundy had 20 to 30 victims, some of these guys are linked to hundreds of deaths. Look at their tattoos, it's like a resume of violence. MS-13 uses the number 13 or the letter M. Barrio 18 goes for 18666 or Roman numerals. A teardrop under the eye? That's a life taken, 1 drop per kill, or 3 if they've lost count. Devil horns show they worship chaos. A spider web means they're trapped by justice. These markings scream loyalty and rank. On the streets, seeing a face tattoo was a death sentence. Here, it's just another detail in their file. Take Marvin Ernesto Medrano Vasquez, aka Psycho. He's 41, looks 35, and has a 34-year criminal history. He joined MS-13 in 2004, but his life of crime started at 11. Why? A single mom working long hours, no father figure, and a need for shoes and clothes. He found a family in the gang, but it cost him everything. His mom, his dad, his son. He admits to killing more than 50 people, says it was just part of the job. Now he's here forever, missing his son who's 21 and hasn't seen him since he was 5. Psycho's story isn't unique, it's the norm in CECOT. Here's the twist. MS-13 and Barrio 18, bitter rivals who'd tear each other apart outside, share cells in CECOT. No fights, no riots, just forced coexistence. Why? Because they're not on the streets anymore. They're powerless, watched 24/7 by guards on catwalks and cameras in every corner. They've gone from predators to prey and they know it. To understand CECOT, we need to rewind to El Salvador's dark past. This country was once the murder capital of the world. In 2015, the homicide rate hit 104 per 100,000 people. Insane for a nation of 6 million. Gangs like MS-13 and Barrio 18 ruled through fear, born from the chaos of a civil war in the 1980s. Refugees fled to the U.S., formed gangs in L.A., then brought the violence back home. By 2022, they were untouchable, until Bukele said enough. March 2022 was the tipping point. After that bloody weekend, Bukele declared a state of exception. Constitutional rights, suspended. Arrests, mass and swift. Over 70,000 people were rounded up, many based on tattoos or where they lived. CECOT was built to house the worst of them, a symbol of Bukele's iron fist. The results? Homicides plummeted. By 2023, the rate was 2.4 per 100,000, one of the lowest in the world. Neighborhoods once ruled by gangs became safe. People felt free again. But it's not all praise. Human rights groups like Christosol say the crackdown's gone too far. Over 260 inmates have died in custody since 2022. Torture, starvation, neglect. Thousands of innocents were caught in the net, some still missing. Critics call CECOT a black hole of human rights, a concrete pit where due process dies. Bukele shrugs it off, says it's the price of peace, and with a 90% approval rating, most Salvadorans agree. CECOT isn't just El Salvador's story. It's gone global. In 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump struck a deal with Bukele, $6 million to house 300 alleged Venezuelan gang members from Tren de Aragua in CECOT, no trial needed. The Alien Enemies Act of 1798 made it possible. Bukele even offered to take American convicts for a fee, calling it a migratory agreement. The world took notice, some in awe, others in horror. Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch slammed it. Arbitrary arrests, no communication, brutal conditions. But in places like Honduras, Guatemala, and Ecuador, where gangs run rampant, people marched for their own CECOTs. Colombia's right wing wants one too. Bukele's model is spreading, a blueprint for control that's as admired as it is feared. Okay, we've walked through the concrete walls of CECOT, seen the inmates, felt the tension. But now, let's shift gears. This isn't just a prison story. It's a goldmine of strategy and leadership lessons for CEOs, entrepreneurs, and anyone running a business. CECOT's extreme approach to control and execution holds principles that, when adapted, can transform how you lead your company. No, I'm not saying you should lock up your team or electrify your office fences, but the way CECOT was built and runs, there's wisdom there. Let's break it down into 7 practical lessons you can actually use, starting right now. Lesson 1. Vision and decisive action. First up, vision and decisive action. President Nayib Bukele saw El Salvador drowning in gang violence, 87 deaths in 3 days in March 2022, and he didn't sit around debating. He had a clear goal: restore peace by crushing the gangs. His response? A state of emergency and CECOT. Built in just 7 months, that's vision paired with speed. For CEOs, this is about knowing exactly what you want for your company and acting fast to make it happen. No endless meetings, no overthinking, just execution. Think about it. Bukele didn't wait for perfect conditions. He saw the problem, chaos, and moved. In business, hesitation can kill you. Maybe your competitors undercutting your prices or your products losing relevance. A clear vision, like, we'll dominate this market in 12 months, sets the direction. Decisive action means pulling the trigger even if the plan's not 100% polished. Speed beats perfection every time. Here's how you apply it. Let's say you run a tech startup and a rival just launched a cheaper app. Don't waste weeks analyzing. Set a vision like, we'll outpace them with better features by Q3. Then act. Redirect your developers. Cut non-essential projects. Launch a beta in 30 days. Bukele built a prison in 7 months. You can pivot in 7 weeks. Write your goal down, set a deadline, and move. Done is better than perfect. Lesson 2. Total System Design. Lesson 2. Total System Design. CECOT isn't a random pile of concrete. It's a machine. Every wall, every jammer, every X-ray scanner is built for one purpose: total containment. Nothing's left to chance. In business, this means designing your company's systems, your processes, your team, your tech, to lock in your goals with 0 leaks. It's about precision and alignment. CECOT's electrified fences and 24/7 cameras aren't overkill. They're intentional. Every piece serves the mission. In your company, loose systems, like sloppy workflows or unclear roles, let chaos slip through. A competitor can exploit that, or a missed deadline can tank a deal. Total system design means every part of your operation supports your vision, no weak links allowed. Imagine you're a retail CEO. Your goal's to cut delivery times by 50%. Don't just tell your team go faster. Map it out. Upgrade your warehouse software, train drivers on new routes, sync inventory with real-time data. Test it. Does every step align? If your shipping guy's still using paper logs, that's a hole in your fence. Fix it. Audit your systems quarterly. Make them as tight as CECOT's walls. Efficiency isn't optional. It's your edge. Lesson. Or control the narrative. Lesson 3. Control the narrative. Bukele's a master at this. He doesn't just lock up gang members, he films it. Slick videos of shackled inmates and masked guards flood social media, screaming, "We're in charge." It's propaganda, sure, but it's why 90% of Salvadorans back him. For CEOs, this is about shaping how people see your brand, customers, employees, investors. A strong story wins trust and loyalty. CECOT's not just a prison, it's a symbol. Bukele sells it as victory over evil and people buy it. In business, perception is reality. If your company's seen as outdated or unreliable, you're toast, no matter how good your product is. Controlling the narrative means you decide the story. Apple doesn't just sell phones, it sells innovation. What's your story? Let's say you run a food delivery service hit by bad press. Late orders, cold meals. Don't hide. Take Bukele's playbook, launch a campaign. Film your drivers hustling, your kitchen nailing orders, post it everywhere with a tagline like, "Fast, fresh, fixed." Train your team to echo it. Get ahead of complaints, offer a discount and a video apology. Check your social media metrics weekly. Likes, shares, sentiment. If the narrative's slipping, tighten it up. You're the director of your brand's movie. Make it a blockbuster. Lesson 4. Eliminate threats early. Lesson 4. Eliminate threats early. CECOT doesn't mess around with rehabilitation. It neutralizes. Gangs lost power because Bukele hit them before they could regroup. In business, threats aren't tattooed. Gangsters, their competitors, toxic employees, failing projects. The lesson? Spot them fast, cut them off faster. Delay and they'll bleed you dry. Think of gangs as Bukele's competitors. He didn't negotiate, he crushed them. In your world, a threat might be a rival underbidding you or a manager tanking morale. Waiting for them to fix themselves is like letting a gang recruit in your backyard. CECOT's zero-tolerance approach says, act now or lose everything. Ruthless? Maybe. Smart? Definitely. Picture this. You're a manufacturing CEO, and a supplier's jacking up prices, eating your margins. Don't haggle endlessly. Find a new one. Or say you've got a sales rep who's lazy, missing quotas. Don't coach them for 6 months. Fire them in 6 days, hire a hustler. Set a rule. Any threat to profit or culture gets 30 days max to shape up, then it's gone. Track your KPIs, revenue, employee turnover. If they dip, something's sneaking through your gates. Kill it early. Lesson 5. Balance control and flexibility. Lesson 5. Balance control and flexibility. CECOT's rigid, locked cells, no sunlight, total surveillance. It works for containment, but it's got flaws. Innocents suffer, resentment festers. Too much control can backfire. For CEOs, this is a warning. Set strict rules where it counts, but leave room for creativity. Overmanage, and you'll choke your team's potential. CECOT's strength is its iron grip, 0 escapes, 0 riots. But the cost? Human rights complaints and a brittle system that could crack under pressure. In business, total control, like micromanaging every email, kills innovation. Your team's not inmates. They need space to think. The trick is knowing where to lock down, finances, deadlines, and where to loosen up, ideas, experiments. Balance wins. Suppose you're a software CEO. Your release dates keep slipping. Lock that down. Set hard deadlines, track progress. Daily, no excuses. But your coders are pitching a wild new feature? Let them run with it. Give them a week to prototype. No strings. Review your team's output monthly. Are they hitting targets and innovating? If not, you're either too tight or too loose. Adjust. CECOT's rigid, you don't have to be. Lesson 6. Long-term thinking. Lesson 6. Long-term thinking. CECOT's built to last. Its own power grid sewage system, a 40,000-person capacity for decades. Bukele's not playing for today. He's securing tomorrow. CEOs, this is your reminder. Stop chasing quarterly wins. Invest in what pays off years. Down the line, tech, people, culture. Short-term hustle's fine, but longevity's the real game. CECOT's infrastructure means it can run a week without outside help. Pure foresight. Businesses obsessed with quick profits, like slashing R&D to boost earnings, end up fragile. Bukele bet on a fortress. You bet on foundations. A competitor might outshine you this quarter, but if your systems outlast theirs, you win the war. Running an e-commerce biz? Don't just push Black Friday sales. Spend now. Build an AI chatbot that cuts support costs by 30% in 2 years. Train your staff, even if it's slow up front. They'll stay longer, saving you hiring headaches. Set a 5-year plan. Where's your revenue, your team size, your tech? Check it yearly. Tweak. Don't scrap. CECOT's walls took months to build. Your empire takes years. Start now. Lesson 7. Know the cost. Lesson 7. Know the cost. CECOT's piece isn't cheap. 260 inmate deaths, innocents locked up, global backlash. Bukele owns it, says it's worth it. In business, every big move has a price. Cash, morale, reputation. The lesson? Calculate it, accept it, and don't flinch. Success isn't free, and pretending it is sets you up to fail. Bukele traded human rights flak for safety, harsh but deliberate. CEOs face trade-offs too. Expanding fast might burn millions or stress your team. Ignoring the cost, or worse, denying it, leads to surprises you can't handle. CECOT's transparent about its price, you should be too. Know what you're willing to pay and stick to it. You're a fashion CEO eyeing a new factory overseas. Cost? $5 million upfront, plus a year of low output as it ramps up. Trade-off? Delayed profits, maybe some PR heat if labor's iffy. Map it out. Can you cover the cash? Will your brand survive the hit? If yes, go for it. Eyes open. Review post-launch. Did the cost match your math? Adjust next time. Bukele paid in blood, you pay in dollars or sweat. Own it. There you go. 7 lessons from CECOT, straight from its walls to your boardroom. Vision, systems, narrative, threats, balance, longevity, cost. Imagine running your company like this. A competitor's eating your lunch. Crush them with a fast, airtight plan. Teams coasting? Set rules, but let them shine. CECOT's extreme, but its principles? Universal. Take anyone and try it this week. Tell me how it goes in the comments.